What is up guys, Andy Forest Runner here, back with another video for you today, and today I want to dive into talking a little bit about how you guys can improve your running form. So in today's video guys, I want to talk to you about three major points that I've been working on myself to improve my running form over the last couple of years. Now, running form divides opinion, to be honest with you. You've got a lot of runners that couldn't give a monkeys about it and are of the mindset that the more they run, the better they'll become. And you've got the other mindset of runners that work hard on their running exercises, strength and conditioning, whatever you want to call it, to improve their running form. Now for me personally, it's been a bit of a godsend to be able to work on my running form, because when I started out I was carrying a lot of injuries through from my footballing years, maybe playing football for 9-10 years plus all the time when I was a junior, lots of broken bones, sprained ankles, all of that sort of thing. And for me, when I'm watching myself back on camera, I realised just how sloppy and poor and uncontrolled my running form was. It was terrible. So I took a mental note back then and really started to home in on how I could improve my running form. Now, as I said, it's really drastically come on in the last year, and that's mainly thanks to me joining the gym. But as I said, today I want to cover the three major points that have really helped me and will be able to help you. Just before we dive into the 3 points, a lot of you guys might wonder, might ask the question, why do I need to work on my running form? What's so important about it? How's it going to help me? Ultimately, all of us are different. We all have our strengths, we all have our weaknesses. Take me, for example, I'm 6'6", I have an inside leg of 39 inches, so my cadence is very low. I have multiple injuries from playing football when before I started running for 9 years, plus when I was a junior, multiple broken bones, sprained ankles, you name it, I've done it. Now when you rock up to a start line of a race, you can, and you're heading off and you're running down the funnel and the gun's gone off, and you watch everyone from behind in their running start, and some of you might notice that some people might just kind of like limp to the side a little bit, notice that one of the shoulder drops a little bit further than the other. You might notice that one of their arms crosses over a little bit more. You might notice that as they're running, their feet kick out a little bit. And that's all down to weaknesses in their muscle chains and things that have happened to them, whether it be an injury or just the way that they've never really utilised and activated specific muscles to engage and work and help your body move more efficiently and effectively. So for me, as a perfect example, last year when I joined the gym, I did not increase my mileage one little bit. Just added in 2 gym strength sessions a week to work on my weaknesses, which in particular for me is my right hand side, where I've suffered a lot of injuries, and my upper back, which is very weak. And my times absolutely plummeted from doing no extra running, and that is because I ran more efficiently and effectively. So for those of you wondering why you might want to do it, it's purely and simply to be working on your weaknesses. Okay guys, so the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is, of course, drills and strides. Now I'm not going to go into detail about which specific drills and strides you should be doing, because there are some amazing videos out there on YouTube going into really good detail about how to do specific drills and strides, of course. But for those of you that don't know, I'm just referring to things like high knees, bum flicks, skips, A skips, B skips, whatever you want to call them, and then just some acceleration strides, which is where you're getting up to about 90-95% for maybe anywhere between 20 meters up to 100 meters, depending on where you are in your training block. For example, if I wind back to my 10k training series, when I was starting my workouts in week 1 and 2, I'd be doing a small amount of drills. And as the weeks progressed towards the end, my strides were getting longer and my drills, the volume of drills, were getting longer. And that for me was a really key thing, because as I've just alluded to, my height is rather big, my inside leg is massive, my cadence is very low. So for me to try and get a quick turnover is really important, because my stride length is very long and my cadence in a 10k race is around 162 to 164. It's not quick at all, but it used to be around 160, and the progression there of the cadence has been because of the fact that I have been doing all these quick feet, these drills, and of course I can take that through to my race. So when I was rocking up to my races last year, Seven Bridge night race, and of course the Newent 9.5k race, I would do a quick warm-up and then do my drills before the race. Just very light drills, nothing major, but again, just working on quick feet, thinking about quick feet. And what that does not only is it gets your body and your muscle memory used to your feet hitting the ground quick and turning over quickly, But for me, mentally, it really ingrained it in my brain that I was thinking, got to be light on my feet, got to be light on my feet, got to be light on my feet. And that mindset really helped me to be a lot more efficient during the race. So the first thing that I would highly recommend to any of you is if you're doing workouts of any particular speed, make sure you incorporate some drills and strides just before you get going. So the second thing that I want to talk to you about, and this is a thing that I have been doing since 2 years ago, maybe even more to be honest with you, and that is down to my height, is thinking about my posture. I remember talking to James, my friend, about this a long time ago. I said to him ages ago, I need to start thinking about my posture. I've looked at some of my race photos, I'm really hunched over, they're really terrible. I need to think about being upright and working hard. Now, I started doing this on all of my easy runs, making sure that when I was doing my easy runs, I was thinking, right, let's imagine that someone has got a piece of string attached to the crown of my head there, and they're just pulling that up there, and I'm tucking my chin, and I'm breathing well, and I'm keeping my posture and my chest open. Now, for me, that's quite a difficult thing because I have kyphosis at the top of my back here. I have a bit of a rounding at the top of my back, and my neck juts out, doesn't sit straight up. And that, again, is something I'm working on at the gym. But for me, prior to the gym, just focusing on holding that up and opening out my rib cage and being able to breathe properly, for those of you that suffer with that issue, and I know there's quite a few of you, and that comes unfortunately either with genetics or sitting at a desk all day. It's not fun, guys, I know. So for me, that was the first step in making sure that I was able to breathe. And again, my race times, before I started thinking about that, I really used to plummet towards the end of a race, and that was mainly because I'd be kind of like really bobbing around and my head was really starting to jut out and I was really curling over. Whereas I was thinking after that, once I was working on my posture for a good, I'll be honest with you, it takes time, a good 3 to 6 months, I was really starting to notice that I was thinking a lot more about it. Again, it's all about muscle memory, remembering, what am I doing? Oh yeah, that's it, I've got to just remember. So even in those times when it's tough at mile 11, 12 and in the last bit of a half marathon, when you're really slogging your guts out and you're trying to get to the finish line and you're really just kind of like falling forward with a bit of style, as I like to call it, you'll think, no, got to keep upright because I've got to keep my breathing open, got to keep my chest nice and wide so that I can get as much air in as possible. And posture is such a massive thing. So that, guys, is number 2. Okay guys, and the third and final thing that I want to talk to you about is, of course, strength and conditioning. I have just mentioned it, but joining a gym for me last year, back in April or May, whenever it was the best thing I have ever done for my running. Strength and conditioning can come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. We don't have to talk gyms here. We can be doing body weight stuff at home. We can be doing exercise classes like yoga and Pilates. We've got something here called kettle size. So they use kettlebells, they put a workout routine together. A lot of our local club runners do it. It's absolutely fantastic for strengthening the body all round. And the whole idea of strength and conditioning is to expose your weaknesses and work on them. I had a personal trainer for 12 weeks. I invested, got a plan together, and he left me and let me go with a load of exercises that was going to help my weaknesses. In particular, that was my upper back. So that is now meaning that in races I can finish strong. I cannot stress to you how much of an incredible feeling it is for those of you that suffer with this to finish a race strong. That Newport half marathon and that Gloucester 20 I've done this year felt so good, and it really is a patience thing. You do have to work hard in the gym and work on your weaknesses, but for me it has just been a revelation. Now, you will get a lot of runners that say you need to run more to get better, and yes, ultimately you do need to run more to get better. Aerobically, that's going to help you a lot. But if you have weaknesses, running more is going to expose them. That's exactly what it did to me. When I tried to increase my mileage last year, I sat at 40-45 miles for a while. I was peaking on a particular training plan. I can't even remember what it was now, around 50-55, and I was really noticing I was getting some niggles, some constant recurring niggles in the same places. And I thought, if I ever need to permanently increase my mileage, I really need to take my strength and conditioning seriously. And I knew where those niggles were coming from. It was all in my back and all in my neck, and it was knocking everything out in my muscle chain, and ultimately my right hand side was just falling apart, and I was just kind of like dragging everything along. Had to have lots of sessions with Chris to fix myself, as I documented on this channel, and lo and behold, we were fine. Strength and conditioning is, without a shadow of a doubt, in my opinion, one of the best things that you guys can do to help your running form. So that's it guys from me. I hope you enjoyed that. Those are my 3 things in particular that have helped me. There are plenty of other things out there, and if you Google or YouTube how to improve your running form, you'll find other fantastic videos out there with other great points. I just wanted to cover what has worked for me, and I know hands down will help you. Strength and conditioning, posture work, drills and strides. It's the basic stuff that is going to help you take you guys to the next level of your running. So if you enjoyed this video, of course, please do give it a like, share it with your friends, and do consider subscribing to the channel for weekly running content, and I will see you next time. Until then.